we are live.
Yes.
I think so. Wait.
Yes. I can confirm that I can hear you, Emily.
Amazing. Yeah, I'm just a little bit worried with my connection here, but it should be good. It should be good. So now that we are also live again.
Live on Zoom.
Yeah, amazing. We can start officially this last part. And again, for those who just connected, welcome everybody. This is the 12th part of the Peace Wave. And for those who are not familiar with the organizers of the Peace Wave, we are the International Peace Bureau. I am Emily Molinari, and the other organizer is War Beyond War. We will then send maybe a couple of links into the chat, so then you can also explore our website and other activities if you are interested. And this is the 3rd year we have the Peace Wave. And the Peace Wave was born as a counter protest for the summit that is happening in July in Washington, the NATO summit. And that's why the Peace Wave opposes all the military expansions, including, as mentioned, alliances such as NATO and other partnerships around the world, like AUKUS. And this is not the only action that we are taking as a counter protest for the summit. You can see the other actions also from our websites. And in order to fund those actions, we also launch a fundraiser during this Peace Wave. So if you want and if you're able to, we will appreciate any donation you can give. And we will post everything into the chat. But I know that we are having a full last and part of the Peace Wave, so I don't want to take too much time here. And that's why I will turn now the floor to Lisa, our moderator for this part. Lisa is a very close friend of IPB. She was our co-president until 2022, and she's also the vice president of the Italian Association Beati I Costruttori di Pace and the Italian Peace and Disarmament Network. And we are extremely grateful that you can be here with us today, and you will be helping us with the moderation of this part. So thank you so much. And yeah, I'll give you the floor. I'll be here helping with the tech and the videos. So yeah, I'll be
Good. Thank you, Emily. Thank you for putting it all together. I did that work last time, and I know it's quite complicated and lengthy work trying to fit everything into the 2 hours, everything that arrives. But I'd like to say that I sort of joined about 15 or 20 minutes beforehand, and the idea of that wonderful song to accompany the Mother's Call, which we have translated into Italian and disseminated widely in Italy. The Mother's Call of Israeli and Palestinian mothers is a fantastic document. It is truly something that shakes your conscience upside down and really gives you a blow, so that you, in a non-violent way, so that you must think about what's going on and think about how to change what's going on in this world. Here we are. As Emily has just said, we have a very full program. So I think we can start right away with the first person on our program, who is a dear old friend of mine. I understand that he's on video, but he may also be there live streaming. His name is Alberto Capannini, and he's from the Italian Pope John 23rd community, and in specifically their Operazione Colomba, which is, there he is, I can see him, which is a group of young people who go, and more or less not so young anymore, who go and live in war zones in solidarity with the people who are suffering the consequences and the devastation of war. And Alberto is speaking to us from Ukraine. maybe we could start the video so he can tell us more about it himself. I can't hear it. Is he speaking? Can anyone else hear it? I can't hear it.
Did you just say that you cannot hear it?
Yeah,
Yes.
the sound's not coming through.
No sound.
Mm-hmm. Let's try that again.
Meanwhile, I'll give you just a few little more information about the community of Pope John the 23rd. They initially operated in former Yugoslavia. That was starting about 27 years ago. And they've lived right on the front lines of war, trying to help reunite families divided by the war. There it is. Is it coming, or is that you, Ahmed? No?
I know it's coming. I hope so.
Okay.
Let me know.
As I was saying, they started during the war in Bosnia. And so they were both in Croatia and in Bosnia itself amongst the refugees of all the different ethnic groups, separated by the fronts of war where the fighting was happening, and trying to reunite families to protect minorities, the unarmed minorities, and their protection was also unarmed, needless to say. And create, here we are, create spaces for meeting and dialogue.
My name is Alberto. I'm part of an Italian organization, international Italian organization that is called Operazione Colomba, part of the Pope John 23 community. We, as organization, decided in 1992 to prepare a group of people that goes to live in conflict area, try to protect the people living there in conflict area or in a refugee camp on the front line in a non-violent way. So we start, as I said, in 1992 with the former Yugoslavia war. Then we decide to go in other places, in Colombia and Israel and Palestine, in Africa and different parts of Africa, in Congo, Uganda, and Sierra Leone, in South America, in Colombia and Chiapas, as I said. And when the war started in 2 years ago, in 2022, we decided to go to enter in Ukraine and to live there, try to understand what would have been possible to help the people in facing this very hard period, this invasion, this shelling, this occupation, and all the things that we know about the war, Russia against Ukraine. We are a group of volunteers from different, most of us we are from Italy, but there are also people from other land. And usually the first thing we do is to go on the front line or in a refugee camp to share the everyday life, the normal life, we can say, that the people living in the midst of war, to share their life. Why? Because we think that our life is so important as their life is. There is no other way to tell them that our life has the same importance than living with the people. I can't say to people, I believe that all the men are equal, and keep living in my Western and safe place, thinking that safeness is something that is important just for me, not for other people. So the first is to find a place where we can live, living with people. When we arrived in Ukraine, we lived for 1 month and some more in Lviv, in the western side of Ukraine, near the border, because there were people escaping from a war area every day, like a million of people. They were passing from the railway station to go to Europe, to go to Poland, to Germany, to Italy, and there were like a flood, millions and millions of people escaping from war. Then we decided to go to Odessa, and when I say we, I mean that we succeed in collecting different organizations from Italy, more than 100, to provide humanitarian aids and also to provide hosting for people who want to leave Ukraine. And we decided to go as second thing to Odessa. Odessa at the time was, as it is now also, was bombed every day under shelling, because the Russian army was interested in taking Odessa, because it's the biggest port in the Black Sea. And because if you stop Odessa, if you stop the deliverance of crops and things produced in Ukraine will not survive. So we were there, hundreds of Italian people, asking for the stop of the blockade, of the siege of the city. And then we knew people living in the front line. At the time was in Mykolaiv, like some more of 100 kilometers from in east from Odessa, and we visit those people in Mykolaiv. They were living in an underground shelter. We asked them, can we live with you and stay with you? And so in the summer of 2022, we started living with them. There were like 30 people, part of a Christian community, and they host us. We have the possibility to live with them for more than 1 year. And Mykolaiv was under heavy shelling almost every day. And more than half of the population was decided to go out of Mykolaiv. And the people who decided to stay, they were without water, because also the water system was destroyed. So collaborating with other organizations, we provide small wells and desalator to provide drinking water for people. And then we, at the end of 2022, the front moved from Mykolaiv to Kherson, that is 40 kilometers in the east direction. And we met some people from Kherson. They were living also there was a small community who decided to stay. They were living and trying to repair houses and try to provide humanitarian food aid for people. We decided to live with them. So at the moment we live.
Emily, I think it's gone.
Yeah, but I don't know why.
I wonder why.
Ahmad, are you okay?
Actually, the video ended.
Okay.
Yeah, the video ended.
Then we can go.
They didn't mean to end it, obviously, but if it ended, that's the full time also that we had. And we do not have Alberto online, do we? I don't see him
No,
anywhere.
I'm
So
afraid
there's
we
no
don't.
talking. There's no talking to him. But we heard a lot about where they are and the spirit of their work. And now on my running list, I have another friend that I have followed for many years. I've only met him once or twice, but I am very pleased that we have with us Oleg Bodrov. Oleg is an environmentalist, a physicist, an engineer, a specialist on nuclear issues. I understand, Oleg, that after Chernobyl, you decided to study in depth the ways and means of making life safer for all of us, and that this has meant that we can put together, this is something we've had difficulty in doing in Western Europe, put together our battles, our struggles against nuclear weapons with our struggles against nuclear energy, or at least to make it safer. But please now tell us more about your more recent work, which is about an analysis and proposals for analysis of the militarization of the Baltic Sea region and the possible consequences, as well as, I hope, the role that civil society can play in preventing threats. Welcome, Oleg.
Dear Lisa, thank you so much. And dear friends and colleagues, I greet you from the Russian shore of the Baltic Sea. It is close to St. Petersburg. It is northwest part of the Russia, 1,000 kilometers from Ukraine. But in the same time, I feel that we have very difficult situation in our region because it is only 70 kilometers from here, the line of confrontation between NATO and Russia. And the militarization of the Baltic Sea region is underway. Dozens of new military bases are being created in all countries around the Baltic. The risk of military conflict is increasing. What will happen if military operations begin using modern, not nuclear weapons? I think you know that the number of victims of bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki 70 years after the bombing reached 450,000. In the same time, 20 years after Chernobyl nuclear power plant accident, the additional death like a result of the accident increased and reached about 1 million people in Europe, Asia, Africa, and North America. Thus, the victims of accident at the nuclear power plant were not only residents of Ukraine, but also residents of entire northern hemisphere of our planet. Thus, one destroyed nuclear reactor killed more than 2 times and as many people of 2 atomic bombs. The bombing field, Hiroshima and Nagasaki, are result of rebuilt on the same site. It never be possible to live near Chernobyl nuclear power plant because this territory is contaminated with long-lived radionuclides. I'm looking to the map of the Baltic region. I'd like to demonstrate my screen. One moment, please. You can see the Baltic Sea region. There are a total 17 operating reactors here. Next to them are storage facilities to spent nuclear fuel. This is super toxic, high radioactive waste which is equivalent of at least 200 reactors. In fact, the entire Baltic region is mined with nuclear reactors. In the event of military conflict, it is impossible to guarantee the safety of the nuclear power plant. If they are destroyed, it will be collapse of the lifestyle for 90 million people in 9 countries of the Baltic region, including Russia. I think about what can civil society in the Baltic region do. Politicians from NATO countries and Russia have made it difficult for civil society representatives to cooperate. The borders are closed. The other barriers of communications have been created. The famous physicist Albert Einstein once expressed an interesting idea. This idea, in context of the current situation, can be interpreted as follows. If crisis has arisen in the system, that it is impossible to find a way out of the crisis if the same stakeholders who created this crisis act. I think civil society in the Baltic region countries need to unite to form a common strategy for overcoming this crisis. We have a common motivation. This motivation is preservation of our common home, Baltic Sea region. Those making the decision to launch military operation in the Baltic region are located thousands of kilometers away in Washington and Moscow. But in the event of the destruction of the nuclear facilities in the Baltic region, we, 90 million citizens of 9 countries, would become victims. The time has come for us to unite representatives of civil society in the Baltic region countries in order to develop a Baltic view of the development of our region. I think such strategy may be relevant not only for the Baltic ecological region, but for other ecological regions. So, thank you. That's what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I can't see whether I'm, yes. Oleg, thank you, Oleg. That's exactly what I hoped, that you would help us understand. You help us understand the dangers, but also to push us into action. I think that's what this peace wave is all about, really. Isn't it about creating synergy and networks amongst all of us and sharing the expertise of some with the vast network? So thank you very, very much, Oleg. I've got to move on because we are a little bit late compared to the running order that to the running sheet that Emily has given me. So next we should be having Asya Gagieva, also a Russian. Asya is a council member of the International Peace Bureau, and in 2022, the last year that I was co-president, she was awarded the Sean McBride Peace Prize, together with Yurii Sheliazhenko, for speaking out for peace in Ukraine. Is Asya there? Can someone tell me whether she's actually there? I haven't seen her name anywhere amongst the participants.
No, I don't think she was able to connect at the end. So
oh, in the end, she wasn't. So I think she sent us a video. Is that right, Emily?
yes.
Perhaps we could see this video. It doesn't need an introduction, I presume. And so we can just see what Asya sent us. Thank you.
С этой высочайшей вершины России и Европы от имени всех жаждущих мира людей планеты Земля мы обращаемся к лидерам стран и народов и ко всем значимым людям, не только к тем, чьи портреты были подняты на вершину Эльбруса, но и ко всем приложить максимальные усилия, чтобы на нашей планете, наконец, прекратились какие бы то ни были войны. Война на Украине, в Донецке, в Луганске, где гибнут дети, женщины, старики. Когда тысячи детей остались сиротами, невозможно на это смотреть спокойно, равнодушно. Военные действия в Палестине, в Ливане, Ираке, Израиле, в Сирии. Пришла пора, чтобы на нашей многострадальной планете наступила долгожданная эпоха всеобщего мира. Война должна стать запрещенным видом деятельности. Все вопросы навсегда должны разрешаться исключительно переговорами. Все прошедшие века и тысячелетия об этом мечтали, молились и к этому стремились мирные люди всего мира. Я, Лела Албогачиева, хожу в Высший совет Международной ассоциации блогеров, и мы обращаемся к каждому жителю планеты. Любите, творите и созидайте во имя всего святого, во имя всего прекрасного, что есть в вас. Что не можем мы поделить под этим голубым небом? Чего нам не хватает? 3 аршина земли достанется всем. Я эти портреты собираюсь поднять на вершину мира Эверест, а их 176. Список лишь только приумножится. И я буду поднимать эти портреты на все 8-тысячники, которые существуют в мире, до тех пор, пока весь мир не объединится в единое целое и не станет девизом для каждого из нас. Долой войны! Да здравствует всеобщий мир!
Long live universal peace. That is a wonderful message coming from Russia. I'm very sorry we can't have Asya with us, but Oleg, did you know about this wonderful woman, Leila Albogacheva? You didn't know about her, but she's fantastic. I found her full of life and going to the top of the 8,000-meter peaks in the world. I understand she went to the 7 summits. She's conquered them all and is the only Russian woman to have reached the summit of Mount Everest twice, not just once, twice, for in the name of universal peace. And that slogan, love, create and build, really, I think is very much up the stream of this 24-hour peace wave. So thank you, Asya, even though you couldn't make it to join us here. But thank you very much for sending that. And after that, we have Yurii. Yurii is with us, and Yurii was awarded the Sean McBride Peace Prize together with Asya Gagieva. And that was something that we felt very important in that first year of the war, when we all thought the war was not going to last that long. Yurii is a conscientious objector. He is the president of the pacifists of Ukraine. Yurii, you're not in prison right now, but you are in house arrest. Is that right? Are you going to tell us about yourself and about your plans and about what we can do also better. I know that one of our adored lawyers who defends conscientious objectors in Italy always comes to witness the trials that you are being put through. You're quite well known throughout the world, and many of us want to uphold your freedom and your choice and your choices and your way of life. Thank you for what you're doing. You're representing many of us. I can tell you that. Yurii, tell us more.
Thank you, Lisa. So, dear friends, greetings from Ukraine. Peace Wave is wonderful and inspiring event which gives hope in desperate time. People from different countries come together to discuss our work towards peace on common planet, which is more than ever war-torn and hijacked by warmongers. Peace Wave come here in time when Ukraine is under attack because of brutal criminal invasion of Putin's army, driven by genocidal intent to impose on Ukrainians so-called historical unity with Russians. In other words, to place Ukraine under yoke of Russian Empire. For many Ukrainians, accepting this so-called Russian sphere of influence means a death of Ukrainian nation, and deaths are literally happening today on both sides of this front line. Yesterday in Kharkiv, during a Russian airstrike, 3 people were killed and 56 injured, including 3 children. In Kiev region, falling Russian missile destroyed 6 high-rise residential buildings and over 20 houses. Drone attacks are continuing, ruining homes, killing people, reminding us of timely warning of Pope Francis that so-called lethal autonomous weapons should be banned, that no machine should ever choose to take the life of a human being. Remember Dr. Strangelove, this machine who in fact taking life of all humankind. Reckless warfare using killer drones gone so far that explosions undermine safety of Zaporizhzhia nuclear power station, risking nuclear accident. It is not only threat of nuclear weapons, we must ban nuclear weapons, but also we have this risk. Russian occupation of the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant and neighboring city Energodar turned the region into a battlefield, and like everywhere on Russia-occupied territories, civilians are beaten into submission, civic leaders abducted and tortured. The word Energodar means the one who gives energy, but Russian occupation stopped function of nuclear power plant and provokes drone strikes on local energy infrastructure, detonating explosives on minefields planted by occupying forces. So the people in Energodar, instead of giving electricity to the country, are themselves frequently deprived of electricity. And whole Ukraine today suffers from power shortages. I need to use power banks to supply my computer and internet router because the electricity is turned off every day. Half of Ukrainian energy infrastructure is destroyed by Russian rockets and drones. Every day throughout Ukraine, we hear air raid alerts on the streets warning about income of Russian drones. And we see in news feeds victorious official messages that Ukrainian drones hit one or another Russian target. In Kharkiv region near Vovchansk, a woman postman delivering pensions was killed by Russian drones. It makes me worrying about my friend Vitaly Alexeyenko, a conscientious objector to military service punished by a verdict of court in Ivano-Frankivsk for his Christian pacifism. I would like to make a long quote what Vitaly says. This is Vitaly's words. Many people prayed and continue to pray for peace and justice in Ukraine and in the world. God in heaven, says Vitaly, surely hears our prayers, and those powerful in this world must hear too. I believe, says Vitaly, that it is necessary not only to pray for peace, but also not participate in wars. Jesus teaches, love your enemies, do good to those who hate you, and pray for those who mistreat you. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Jesus Christ also said in the Sermon on the Mount, reconcile quickly with your adversary. And we should listen to these wise words, said Vitaly. If we fail to find agreement, this animosity will not end well, and nuclear war may occur that will kill countless people. Pity that the state failed to provide him alternative service. With God's help, says Vitaly, I found the Christian way of protecting my country and nonviolent resistance to Russian aggression, my job as a postman. Despite all attacks and explosions, Ukrainian people must receive their mail, parcels, and pensions, and congratulate each other with holidays by postcards. When people in every corner of the country are connected by the post, he said, we are united, we are almost neighbors. There is a message of love and hope in it, and it helps to overcome the pains of war. End of quote. This is words of my friend Vitaly Alexeyenko, a humble believer and a postman who received 3 years prison suspended sentence for his conscientious objection and decision to resist Russian aggression by nonviolent means. He was one of the first conscientious objectors sentenced at the beginning of full-scale invasion when Ukrainian judges were engaged into political repressions. Because of his humbleness, he initially even cut a deal with prosecutor regarding suspended sentence. But the court broke this deal when Vitaly said in the court that he is ready to be punished by earthly laws in order not to violate the commandment of God, clearly saying you should not kill. Judge was furious and sent him to jail. With my legal aid, he won cassation and was released by Supreme Court after 3 months behind the bars. However, instead of acquitting him, Supreme Court ordered retrial and he got suspended sentence, upheld by appellate court despite the prosecutor pressured for real prison term. He filed cassation complaint, again I helped him. He is lucky because he is free and New York Times wrote about his case. Other objectors are not so lucky. Dmytro Zelinsky, an Adventist conscientious objector, is serving his 3-year jail term for refusing mobilization on ground of conscience in the same Kolomia prison where Vitaly spent 3 months. Number of prisoners of conscience is growing in Ukraine. New law on mobilization came to legal force in May this year, and all men in Ukraine are forced to renew military registration and bear with them military ID under threat of draconian fines. Not to say you can't get job, you can't get good education without military registration. There is no exceptions for conscientious objectors. People are already complaining. One Baptist said to me, he was fined 100,000 hryvnias for his conscientious objection, which is $2,500. It is for Ukraine, for poor country, it is draconian fine for conscientious objection. Ukrainian army denies human right to freedom of conscience, and it causes horrible human rights violations, as you could read in current report by European Bureau for Conscientious Objection on the website yebko-beok.org. Such legal nihilism is common among many armies. Israeli conscientious objectors are routinely jailed for their refusal to commit genocide in Gaza. In Turkey and its client North Cyprus regime, the military still deny in legal recognition of objectors, contrary to numerous judgments of European Court for Human Rights. Some countries pretend to respect freedom of conscience, turning it into cruel mockery. South Korea, for example, pretends that imprisonment is alternative civilian service. In Russia, most of objectors are denied and persecuted for criticism of army or so-called extremism. if you raise objection on Russia-occupied territories of Ukraine against conscription, which itself violates international humanitarian law, you risk to be repressed and tortured for disloyalty to occupation forces. Human rights defenders are also under attack for advocating rights to peace and conscientious objection. My friends in Russian movement of conscientious objectors are declared foreign agents, getting hostile treatment from Putin's regime. I personally in Ukraine was subjected to house arrest, seizure of smartphone and computer, surveillance of my phone calls and bank accounts, under preposterous allegations that I justified Russian war of aggression in anti-war statement condemning all wars. It is preposterous. I could be sentenced to 5 years of prison for sending to President Zelensky a statement, Peace Agenda for Ukraine and the World, which says, peace, not war, is the norm of human life. War is an organized mass murder. Current policies of war until absolute victory and contempt for criticism of human rights defenders is unacceptable and must be changed. We, the Ukrainian pacifists, demand and will strive to end the war by peaceful means and to protect human right to conscientious objection to military service. We will tell the truth about the evil and deception of war, learn and teach practical knowledge about peaceful life without violence or with its minimization. This is what is about the statement, but peace speech is criminalized. It is just wrong. It is hard to advocate peace in times like this, but it is our moral duty and we must perform it with all wisdom and full ethical awareness. We must avoid taking sides and repeating rival justifications of war. Russian and Ukrainian media compare other side with Nazi. East and West accuse each other in covert operations and imperialist hegemonic ambitions. Each side has a story of their blamelessness and guilt of other, and each side punishes those who put blame on domestic politics. This is information war, and it is easy to engage in it instead of resisting it, but we must resist. It is always easy to blame someone instead of seeking peaceful solution. And we see that in discussions regarding peace in Ukraine and criticism of opposing peace plans. But whatever flawed or egoistic could be the Putin's offer to give up Ukrainian land and give up whole Ukraine to his sphere of influence, or Zelensky peace formula demanding the end of Russian aggression and accountability for perpetrators of war crimes according to current international law. Well, current international law sometimes is more focused on traditional remedies like so-called self-defense, not reconciliation, but still reconciliation is value and goal in UN Charter. Why not committed? Whatever poorly these visions of peace were reframed in China-Brazil plan or in the peace framework adopted in Switzerland, these imperfect plans still reflect people's desire for peace, human right to peace. And we need to discuss seriously and seek reconciliation between all peace plans and do it fairly and impartially. But we need to do more than that, because current peace plans are yesterday's thinking. We need to think about tomorrow. It is important to rethink rival narratives and not encourage aggressor state, any current or future or past aggressors, by repeating their grievances, their justifications of wars. We need to incentivize to rethink strategic thinking on every side, to rethink current set commitment to long war during many, many years. We need to rethink basic narratives of our time, universally taken for granted, and it contributes into warmongering. We need to rethink such basic narratives as nation state, sovereignty, identity, great powers and spheres of influence. We need to ask simple questions like, are borders, militarized borders, are they deter aggression? Because in reality, mostly the borders divide people to rule them. and prevent people from exchange of knowledge of peaceful life, we need to rethink the most problematic narrative that peace could be achieved through military strength. We need to prove in practice that knowledge-based nonviolent way of life, governance, and conflict resolution is possible and is more effective for protection of civilians than use of violence. Blaming and taking violent sides achieves nothing. In fact, blaming and support of wars and armies is exactly what we need to resist. We must resist Russian aggression non-violently. Only wisdom and practical peace building will lead to success. I hope together, continuing to spread our peace wave, we will manage to build a world where everybody refuses to kill and there will be no wars. Perpetual peace, dream of prophets, philosophers, and scientists of many generations. It is our moral obligation to make the hope come true, to build the better world ruled by truth and love.
Wonderful, Yurii, wonderful. Thank you for your words of wisdom. That's what you've given us, and hope as well. This is fantastic. I'm afraid we went a little bit over time, so I cannot keep chatting with you much as I would like to very much. But I understand we have Aslak from the Norwegian organization Stop NATO with us. Aslak has sent us a video. It's a little bit too long for us to show the entire video, but perhaps Aslak would like to introduce it briefly, or would you like us to show the video immediately and we will stop it at a certain point because, as I said, it's too long, but we will put it, since it's available on YouTube, we will put the link in the chat so that everybody can go and see it at their own leisure when they can. Your organization is a member of the Norwegian Peace Council and Norway's Social Forum, and it's also a partner of ICANN, as we are. You produced this video about the militarization of the Arctic, which is what we were already hearing from Oleg as well earlier. What should I do, Aslak? Do you want to introduce it briefly?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think it mostly speaks for itself, actually, with the rapid changes taking place in the Nordic countries. So I will be happy to answer any questions afterwards.
Okay. Emily, perhaps we can have the video then. And I'll look at my watch. I'm afraid it's going to have to be interrupted before it ends. Here we go.
Hva betyr endring av det sikkerhetspolitiske landskapet i Norden med NATO-utvidelser, økte militære aktiviteter og opprettelsen av flere amerikanske militære baseområder i nordiske land? Denne filmen vil belyse noen sikkerhetspolitiske forhold i Norges nærområder, i Norden og i Arktis, i lys av de nye forholdene. Vi vil se nærmere på aktiviteter og konsekvenser knyttet til krigsfare, økt spenning og fare ved atomvåpen. I det siste har vi sett raske og store endringer i norsk og nordisk forsvarspolitikk. Tidligere alliansefrie land, som Finland og Sverige, har nærmest over natta blitt medlemmer i NATO. Det som tidligere bevisst ble sett på som en slags alliansefri buffer mot stormakters konfrontasjon, byttet ut med deltagelse i verdens største militærallianse. Norden har fått en framskutt plass i NATOs militære prioriteringer. Det følger en voldsom militær opprusting og militær kapasitetsbygging i Norden, i tråd med NATOs strategier for å samordne militære aktiviteter, ressurser og kommandostrukturer. Militære øvelser følger som perler på en snor. I 2024 hører vi navn som Nordic Response, Steadfast Defender, Global Exercise, Joint Warrior, Dynamic Mongoose, Arctic Edge og Immediate Response. Øvelsene overlapper hverandre nærmest kontinuerlig. Alle de nordiske landene inngår nå avtaler med andre land som gir nærmest permanent oppholdstillatelse til utenlandske soldater og utstyr. Militæravtaler med USA fører til en voldsom knoppskyting av militære baseanlegg. DCA-avtaler, Defense Cooperation Agreement, Avtaler som behandles våren 2024 vil gi USA rett til å ha militær operativ kontroll over store områder og anlegg på 47 steder i Norden. DCA-militæravtalene er initiert av USA og deres strategi for å samordne og koordinere sine utenlandske stasjoneringer og baseområder. USA sier i avtalene at de ikke uforbeholden er bundet av norsk rett og Norges folkerettslige forpliktelser. Flere har vist til at USAs sikkerhetsinteresser ikke nødvendigvis samsvarer med norske. Norge kan på uheldig vis bli trukket inn i en stormaktskonflikt som truer norsk selvstendighet og sikkerhet. Økende amerikansk militær tilstedeværelse med utstyr på norsk territorium betyr at norske områder kan bli utgangspunktet for utenlandske militæroperasjoner som vi selv ikke deltar i. Når USA får sivilrettslig autorisasjon, har Norge ingen kontroll med om deler av norsk territorium kan bli brukt i fangetransport i USAs regi. Deler av baseområdet berører kalve- og beiteområdet for Reiner i hele saken.
I'm very sorry, Aslak. I wanted to ask you a question, though, if you're still around. There he is. I didn't hear much about what civil society thinks about all this. Probably it would have come in the later part of your video. It is a terrifying beginning of a video, I'm sorry, absolutely terrifying. But I'd like to know what people are thinking and doing. Or is everyone just losing their mind out of fear after the Russian invasion of Ukraine? It seems to me they don't understand. They haven't met Yurii, who tells them that, you know, militarization is not the way to keep the peace.
Yeah, I think there is a lot of fear also in the Nordic countries after the Russian aggression. Well, at least in Norway, with regards to rearmament, there is massive support in Parliament. Against the US bases, there are some more opposition, but it's not really discussed very much in the radio or TV. So yeah, I mean, the peace movement are making statements, but it's not very much debated, unfortunately.
That's well, that's more and more of a reason that we should all be networking more closely. We in Italy knew little or nothing about your situation, about this, the gravity, the severity of the situation. We knew that there was joining NATO, that you know, and that even in Finland there was this process was ongoing. But nothing as frightening as what you showed us in that beginning of that video. I'm reminding everyone that although we've had to cut the video short because of time, we're running very late, in the chat, you can find the link and you can go and watch the video on YouTube whenever you want. And I would like everyone to remember what Yurii told us, and then look at the video and see exactly how wrong things are going and how unlike what Yurii suggests we need to do with his infinite wisdom. And I'm afraid we have practically run out of time. There's no time for other question and answers, but I would just like to, I know that two people are here who would like to say hello to us. One is Vera Zalka and the other one is Igor Gottlieb. Can Emily, can you put on Vera Zalka if she's still there, and maybe she can say hello very briefly?
Yes, I think she's here.
And also Igor. And also Igor, and maybe we can still close on time in 2 minutes. This part.
I think both of them are here. I don't know if they can talk.
If they want to. I understood that they wanted to say hello.
Yes, hello everybody. Can you see me?
Now we can, yes. 1 second. Hi, Vera.
Yes, hello everybody.
Hello.
Thank you for this fantastic peace wave, for the organizers. I'm greeting the whole world, I must say, from Hungary. We are in such a region where is the very much pro-NATO environment, I must say, and but many people feel that war is not a solution for anything, and people really want peace, want safety, and their bettering of their lives, and not destroying, because war is destroying lives. And I must put out here a point that we all forgot that the war on the territory of Yugoslavia is over. It's not over, because a lot of people suffer from cancer because of the weapons they use there. And we have to talk about this every year. So this is my message, that also we are experiencing that with the arm racing, that and more son is go for arming and for arm industry. This is not the best way, and we must stop the warmongers to continue to do this. So let's unite, be strong, and keep on working. My greetings to everybody, and be strong.
Thank you, Vera.
Bye
Thank you,
bye.
Vera. Thank you, Vera. That was wonderful. And I think later on we will be hearing about cases of people who are victims of the weapons in the former Yugoslavia. Now, what about Igor Gottlieb? Even more briefly. Igor, are you there? I can hear you.
All. Yes.
Hello.
Thank you. First of all, thank you very much, the organizers, for allowing me to address you. And I would like to say one simple thing, maybe partially continuing what was already clear, for example, from what Yurii said, that the war and political repression accompany each other and feed each other. And we should remember about this. Their political repressions are directed, of course, against objectors, what Yurii has told us about. They are directed at the opponents of the war. They are directed against other opponents of the government, or ordinary people who happened to find themselves in some difficult situations. And the main thing I would say is that a campaign of support for freeing the political prisoners, and on both sides of the confrontation line, is a very important thing that should be closely connected with the movement for peace. Peace and stopping the political repression, stopping the uncontrolled arbitrariness of the security services are actually inseparable things. This started not yesterday, not even 2 years ago, because the wars were before that. And for example, the so-called war on terror and anti-terrorist legislation that actually opened doors for lawlessness and lawless political repressions, they existed before that. And just now we see how this is growing and growing in connection with the war, where there are prisoners of war, but there are also political prisoners. Some of them are anti-war activists. Some of them are simply victims of provocations. And when, for example, in Russia, many people go to prison after provocations, we anybody cannot say with any certainty was it a provocation from Russian security services or from Ukrainian security services. Yes, and also, of course, there are some well-known people. I think many of you know Boriska Garlitsky, for example, but
Yes.
also there are many unknown people. So I will call all of you to join the efforts of human rights organizations and solidarity groups to demand the freeing of the political prisoners. I have told about people in Russia, but of course they exist in Ukraine, of political prisoners in all the countries of the world. Thank you.
Igor, thank you so much. I'm so glad we were able to listen to you. You were speaking from St. Petersburg,
St.
is that
Petersburg,
right?
yes, yes.
St. Petersburg, yes, I forgot to say that in introducing you. Thank you so much. I'm a little bit late. Very sorry, Emily. I haven't been able to keep timing properly. Do I have to have a pause between this part and the next part, Emily, or can I go straight on to Reiner Braun?
No worries, it's perfectly fine. I think we can
go straight to Reiner. Hello, Reiner. Haven't seen you for a long time. So good. I think, well, let me introduce you. Everybody knows who you are. But anyway, Reiner Braun is the former co-president, not just executive director. That was just the last part of his commitment to the International Peace Bureau. He was the International Peace Bureau for many years. He was it, if you know what I mean. He was there, and he was a continuity line and so on. But he's always been one of the spokespersons of the German peace movement in many different capacities, both with the lawyers, Yalana, and with many other peace groups in Germany and internationally, of course. Reiner, I think you have a video about the demonstrations in front of the Ramstein base. Go ahead. Should we have the video first or Reiner first? Video first. Emily, dear. Emily has to do all the work. I'm incapable.
Dear colleagues and dear friends, now you'll see behind me a part of the camp. The Ramstein camp is happening every year, and this year we have the biggest camp since the last 10 years. We are very proud about this because it's not an easy situation for the German peace movement. The camp is against the US air base, and what you will hear now are signs and words from the big event tonight, which shows the protest against the military air base. The two speakers are on one side the historian and famous peace activist Ganser from Switzerland, who is always explaining the danger of NATO and is protesting always in his lectures against the enlargement of NATO to the east. The second is a Catholic priest, Eugen Drewermann, who was banned by the Catholic Church because of his critical points of view. He is over 80 and he is since centuries a very big activist in Germany. I hope you enjoy the time, and then we will show you the protest action on Saturday.
My name is Daniele Gansel. I'm a Swiss historian and peace researcher, and I think we must end the war in Ukraine. We must end it through negotiations. It is possible to end a war through negotiations. This has been done many times all across the world. Right now, here in Germany, where I'm speaking, people only get one side of the story. They only get the information that Russia invaded Ukraine, which is true, which is illegal. This happened on the 24th of February 2022. But there was a story before that invasion, and this story is often not told. And this story is important because 2014, in February 20, 2014, the American government, the CIA, and the right-wing extremists in Ukraine overthrew the government in Kiev. And that really is part of the story that is not told. Once we realize that this was illegal, we have two illegal facts. We have the CIA coup d'etat of 2014, and we have the Russian invasion of 22. So then you see that, okay, it is wrong on both sides, and that will in the end help to find a settlement, because Ukrainians were involved in this coup d'etat. They should not have overthrown their own government, because after having overthrown their own government, Ukrainians bombed the new government which came into power, bombed another part of its population for 8 years, from 2014 to 2022. They bombed the Donbass, so they were basically bombing their own populations. It's not that Ukrainians are innocent. The Ukrainian government was carrying out a civil war. And, you know, I'm not trying to shift blames. I'm just trying to say that everybody is involved in cruel operations, and to get out of this problem, it's important to find peace.
Ich bin auch froh, hört man nicht so viel. Ja, weil Baerbock ist schon bekannt. Das heißt, und ich glaube, in dieser Zeit ist es wichtig, dass man sich an seinen Werten orientiert. Und mehr ist nicht gefordert.
Ramstein ist der größte Militärstützpunkt der USA außerhalb des eigenen Territoriums. Wenn wir für den Frieden sind, können wir die Kriegspolitik der Amerikaner spätestens seit 1989 nach der Ablehnung des Friedensangebots Gorbatschows nicht länger hinnehmen. Dann müssen wir aus der NATO raus. Wir müssen aufhören, eine Kolonie Amerikas zu sein. Wir müssen Amerika zurückbringen zu dem, was es einmal war. William Penn, Quaker, wollte ein Land betreten, in dem es in seiner Gegenwart nie mehr wieder Krieg geben würde. Das wäre das Amerika, das ich liebe und für das ich in Ramstein eintrete.
August 23 in München auf dem Marienplatz. Kanzler Scholz hält eine Rede. Im Hintergrund sind Jugendliche, die Friedensembleme, Friedenstauben zeigen. Die fährt er an. Das sind vielleicht gefallene Engel aus der Hölle, weil sie dem Kriegstreiber Putin zu Diensten sind. Ich müsste nicht Theologe sein, um in der Antwort nicht vorbeizukommen. Herr Scholz, wenn Sie Leute, die für den Frieden sind, zu Teufeln erklären, sind Sie dabei, die ganze Welt in eine Hölle zu verwandeln. Das geht nicht durch.
Dear colleagues and dear friends, I'm staying here in front of the rally of Stopp Airbase Ramstein. We are in the middle of the protest action against the military US base. The Ramstein airbase is the biggest US airbase outside of the United States up to now. Now NATO is building a new base in Romania, but up to now this is the biggest airbase. The US airbase is the center for all drones attack in the world. The order for the drones attack giving in the computer centers in the United States has to be confirmed at the airbase Ramstein. This has to do something with the ellipse of our planet Earth. And the second is, Ramstein is the center for all strategic decisions for the Ukrainian war. The Ramstein committee is meeting all 4 weeks here in Ramstein, deciding about the new drones attack, the strategic plans of Ukraine, the engagement of NATO officers and soldiers, the training of Ukrainian troops, and the new weapons for Ukraine. So this airbase is responsible that this war will not stop, and that NATO is always continuing making war in Ukraine, supporting this war. And it is a lie that NATO is not engaged in the war. Yes, they have not used Article 5 of the NATO Constitution, but engage means when you are sending weapons, more and more weapons, more heavy weapons, more exact weapons, and when you are training the troops or one of the combatants, you are a part of the war. So this is the reason we are here and protesting. Ramstein is also the center for all the decisions of the nuclear engagement of the US nuclear weapons in Europe. So it is an airbase which is so important that every year here we are organizing these protest actions. And these protest actions are actions against military bases and NATO. In Ramstein, all countries of NATO have officers and soldiers which are a part of the decision process. But the main decisions are always making by the generals of the United States. That is the reason we are here. We had done, even by the bad weather last week, a very beautiful peace camps. I think you saw in the beginning some of the pictures. We had last night a very international gathering, and today we have these protest actions. These protest actions are for us a part also of the actions against the NATO summit in Washington. And from this place I send you the greetings for the peace wave, for all the actions this week, and I think it is absolutely needed that we are enlarging our activities, that we are working closer together to come to our old dream to abolishing NATO.
Thank you, Reiner. Can I have Reiner back? There he is. There he is. Reiner, you haven't got any older. You haven't lost any of your energy. You're still the same Reiner I knew for all those years when we were co-presidents together and so on.
But Lisa, you know, like me, the big difference to the last years. I think we never had such a dangerous situation in the world like now.
You're right.
And I think this is the reason, even when you're becoming older, you cannot give up. It's the wrong time to give up. And I think we have to do everything. This includes this beautiful peace wave to strengthen the forces for peace and against these dramatic war situation. I think this is our common job, and we will not give up.
We will not give up. Giving up is the only wrong thing to do.
Yes.
Everything else is good. And I think, though, that we need to believe that we can do it, because we tend to become a little bit too despairing sometimes, but we shouldn't. Look at the peace wave. Look at all these people who are coming together, who are talking to each other. And there is so much that we can get done and so much that we have got done. And if we can talk to people's consciences, I think that we've got it made. I know that you think those in the military and those warmongers don't have a conscience, but I can't believe that. I do believe that we can talk to them, and that if we let Yurii loose on them, they will understand.
You know, the interesting
you don't
point
agree with me.
The interesting point of the last developments in the international society is that we have more and more critical voices from generals and high officers in the different armies. They understand how dangerous is the situation. And the problem is that, really, I have to say it, many of our really stupid politicians does not understand the situation and put always more oil into the fire. That, I think, is the problem. And I'm happy that we are here together. I'm happy that we will meet again in Washington to underline the need, and I think we both are using the same words, of common security. We have to strengthen our forces for coming out of the crisis in the direction of common security.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, Reiner. Thank you.
Udo and Oleg are here, so the family who fights together is together today, and that's always a great picture.
Yes, great. Thank you so much. I'm running not too late. I'm doing quite well. We now have Dzafer Buzoli. Is that how we spell your surname? That's how we pronounce your surname. I know the first name, Dzafer. Is he there, Emily?
Yes, he's here.
Good. Dzafer, can we hear from you? And can you tell us a little bit about what you've been doing and working, I understand, very much on your own, although Vera Zalka, speaking from Hungary, has already pointed out that what you are doing is essential for everybody to do and to support, especially. Hello, Dzafer. Where are you speaking from? We can't hear you. Yes, now we can. Yes, fine.
Well, thanks much. I really appreciate the whole event. I mean, it's so inspiring. It's also very much motivating, encouraging to do even more than this, because we need this kind of networking especially for the ones who are doing this job on themselves as an individual, as an activist. My name is Dzafer Buzoli. Dzafer. Yes. Greetings to all of you from Kosovo. Yeah. As many of you know, it is quite difficult even after 25 years of war with NATO bombing Yugoslavia back then in 1999. So it was the time when I got quite because I knew a little bit of English and many international organizations invited me to work for them. So I visited many places as a translator and interpreter, and meeting many people. I have learned that there is a rapidly growing numbers of cancer, leukemia, and birth deformations. So for me, it was kind of a wake-up call, as well as an alarming thing. You know, I mean, this year we had, like, for example, 1,000. The next year we had 2,000. The next year we had 3,000 of people with cancer. You know, it was already the whole generation was distinguished somehow. So it was alarming, chaotic numbers for me. So in 2014, my mother had died, my 2 uncles, 13 neighbors, 2 children in our family. So I said, okay, something is wrong. So I wanted to do something on my. And the very big problem I came with is that our to that, because NATO is being considered as a savior of the Kosovo nation, as a mother and father of Kosovo. So they will not blame NATO for doing a bad thing in Kosovo. So I decided to raise an awareness, this important thing, and tell how this actually is bad for the whole inhabitants of Kosovo. So since I wasn't able to get any institution to support me, I did it myself. A part of raising awareness and motivating people to come over and do stories and involve other stakeholders in the issue. I had many journalists, in fact, who came over, and after spending few days, they already got some serious lung problems. So, you know, for them it was already you know, something that they would consider something when they go back to their country. They would do the complete check of their lungs and their health issues. So imagine for those people living near the bomb sites. So, for example, I live in a house which is only 8 kilometers far from the first depleted uranium bomb site. So I wanted to do something that will somehow, maybe in a way, help the community in Kosovo. So I did the decontamination of the bomb sites. I went to the many bomb sites in the south of Kosovo. We decontaminated them. We also put the health soil on top, and we seeded grass. We planted grass on top to make sure that it's a live thing, because there are so many people nearby living, including children. Keeping in mind that many of them, if not all, have lung problems living near the depleted uranium bomb sites.
Have we lost you? Dzafer? Dzafer? We lost
Yes.
you after you said bomb sites.
Okay, am I back now?
Okay, good. I can hear you now.
So since then, we were delivering respirators and inhalators for those who are quite in a bad position. A YouTube link, which you might play now. You can also
Yes.
Phil Miller from DEC visiting Kosovo in July. And we did a video.
We can't hear you very well anymore, Dzafer. Try it exactly like that, closing your screen, and just continue talking and see if we can hear you that way.
Okay, am I back now?
Yes, we can hear you now much better.
Well, if you just put I've sent you the link of the video. If you just put the video, you will have the whole thing, because I will be probably
okay.
So
okay.
Just play video.
Can we do that, Emily? Can we do that, Emily?
Yes,
it's in the
already
chat.
in the chat. Yeah.
Okay, we'll do that, and then if you're still around, we will say thank you afterwards, Dzafer.
Sure, I'm here. No worries.
Where in Kosovo are you speaking from?
It's Gračanica. It's near the Pristina.
I know Gračanica. Yes, I know Gračanica. Okay, good. I just wanted to know. Here comes the video.
I think the idea was just for people to watch it if they want from YouTube.
Oh, okay, okay,
okay. Yeah.
And we can move on because we're late. Is that right?
Yeah, it's up to Dzafer.
Dzafer, you can keep on talking then. You can keep on talking if you wish for, and we will not watch the video now, but we will just
I've
give
just
it to
put
people.
it there just in case someone wants to learn more.
Okay.
I will also leave my email in case anybody is interested in a future collaboration on the Kosovo depleted uranium issues, but also if there is anyone who can involve me in their projects, so their projects could learn from our experiences. I'm open for any event, any workshop, conferences, and even project that is in the favor of banning nuclear war in the future.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you very much, Dzafer. Thank you.
I appreciate your call and the whole event. Very much appreciate for that.
Good. I'm glad, and we appreciate your participation. I am now looking at the timetable of my running list, and I am very far behind because I made a mistake earlier, and I now need to call on Maria Cernat and Florina Tufescu. There they are. There is Maria, anyway.
Here we are.
Are you both there together?
Florina had to travel today, and I will be doing the talking. I think I sent a short video, and after that, I will do a short presentation.
Okay. Emily,
possible to play the video.
Yes.
Fantastic.
I didn't tell you all that Maria and Florina are with the World Beyond War from Romania.
For a month now, Romanian students have been protesting at the University of Bucharest in front of the psychology faculty. They demand that the University of Bucharest cease all collaboration with Israel until it halts military operations in Gaza. Their efforts were ignored until last night, June 20th, when the university summoned the gendarmerie to intimidate them. There were more gendarmes than students. The students were fined and left, but the authorities' approach to handling a peaceful protest is deeply concerning. This is Romania's first pacifist protest. It is the first time that youth have united around the idea of peace. They are still fearful and unwilling to expose themselves. The interview I conducted with a young protester is under anonymity, but there is hope. There is hope that we will finally have a pacifist movement in Romania. That is why it is more important than ever to harness this wonderful energy created around the cause of Palestine and channel it into a broader pacifist effort. We are still in the early stages, still forging connections with much younger people who have been activated through exposure on social media. But there is hope, and there is a kernel of pacifism that we intend to nurture and transform into a movement strong enough to bring about lasting and desired change. We are at the beginning. There is a significant age difference between us and the young pro-Palestinian protesters, but there is hope.
We don't want to be another heroes. If tomorrow looks like today, we want to be part of a new beginning, where World Beyond War is here to stay.
So we want to be part of a new beginning, Maria.
Yes, yes. Well, for me, it was quite surprising to see that young Romanian students got activated through exposure through social media, and they started a protest, a pro-Palestinian protest. And what was even more interesting was that Florina Tufescu, a researcher and translator, reached out to me and suggested that we start pacifist organization in Romania, a local branch of World Beyond War. And I said, why not? Because I think it is so important to advocate for peace. Now, if you'll allow me, I will do a very, very short presentation. I promise I won't be long. I did a presentation, not here. Sorry, I will share it right away just to find it. Just a second to see where it is. It is so infuriating that I can't find it now. Where is it? I have a ton of things open here, and unfortunately I can't find it right away, but I will, I promise, because I have it ready. Okay. It has to be here. I had it ready and I must have closed it down. Here it is. Finally. Okay. So my very, very short presentation is about hopeful beginnings. I have to tell you that I think, especially in Romania, pacifism is the most important cause, but I think is the least funded. No money, no projects, to rely on our own, and this is very important. Now, it's also very important to know that, unfortunately, in Romania, 3 decades of capitalism have destroyed the social fabric, stability, and cohesion. We have inequality, fierce competition, and the law of the jungle, I might say, that have brought the population into a state of complete demoralization. So we have a special case of Romania. Why? Because Romanians, of course, they don't want to fight, but this is dramatic because they no longer want to fight for anything. Escaping military conflict is escape from everything that signifies social involvement. Romanians don't want to fight neither in war, nor for noble causes such as pacifism. So we must try to start from somewhere, and this is the most important thing, I think, is building trust. The main challenges that the Romanian branch of the organization World Beyond War must face include identifying the target audiences and finding the best communication strategy to build trust and foster a desire to fight for a cause that is common, yet critically important for each of us. And I think it's important in the first stages of our development of this local branch of World Beyond War to gather data about what Romanians think about pacifism and peace. We might also acknowledge the fact that Romania has a very complicated history with Russia, and when you talk to them about peace with Russia, they might be very reluctant, and on top of everything else, they had the huge propaganda machine that encourages people to act on their most violent impulses, and when they hear Russia, they tend to click, and not in a good way. And also, I think it's very important to see about this pro-Palestinian protest that is so important because it's for the first time that we see a movement that was created overnight and people just started to protest and just started to ask the management of the University of Bucharest to cease all collaboration with Israel. And this is something very, very new. And I will end, of course, with the title of my presentation. I hope this will be a hopeful beginning for us. And we hope that through effective communication, the use of research, social media, and wise communication strategies, we will reach out and we will find the best way to spread the pacifism in our Romania.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much, Maria. Thank you very much. Because as I said earlier, when we heard all the specialist information from Oleg, for example, or from the Norwegians with all their research on what NATO is doing and so on, each one of us has a special knowledge to share with the others, and that's what a network is all about. So thank you so much for having done also this presentation on what is needed. And do not hesitate to reach out whenever you want. Tamara Tufescu is in the waiting room. Is Tamara your colleague? No.
It's her mother. We are so pleased that she also joined. And I think it's fantastic to have also her. She's an elderly woman with a strong commitment for peace.
Like me, probably. Good, great. Welcome, Tamara. But I've got to move on. Otherwise, I shall get us very, very late. Thank you so much again, Maria. Next, we have on the running list Michel Monod. Michel Monod from Geneva, Center for Nonviolent Action. And Michel has sent us a 2-minute video. He's a member of the Center for Nonviolent Action in Lausanne. This organization promotes nonviolence in schools and colleges. It also has a political participation in the policy making in their country. They are active as a political actor. And recently they have presented a petition in Parliament for a ceasefire in Gaza. And for that petition, they collected 2,000 signatures. I think that's what we're going to be seeing in the video. And then Michel, I understand it's in French only. And that Michel will speak afterwards. Perhaps, if needed, he will tell us what the petition says. Can we have the video? Yes, there it is. Open letter to the Federal Council and to Parliament from the Center for Nonviolent Action. Stéphane Hessel, whom we all knew, always used to say, I'm indignant. Oh, no, sorry, can't. We should believe ourselves. Well, I think probably Michel can explain all of this better for those who don't read French. Certainly not that fast anyway. Michel? Are you there?
I see him in the participants, but
yeah, I saw him there earlier. That's why I was so happily suggesting that he tell us about it. I'm sorry, I couldn't really translate much. I have a feeling that it went very fast in French for those who are not fluent French speakers. But it's very interesting because this is yet another aspect, which is the aspect of international law, national law, and international law. And this has always characterized and been one of the most important special spheres of action of our peace movements, because we are the supporters of international law, not the warmongers. And international law is there to protect the right to human life, to protect the right to peace. And that is what we must never tire of appealing to. Sorry, that was a little bit of a lecture on my part, which was not necessary, but I felt it right then. So even though I'm a little bit late, I've recovered some time. We're going to go to
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Liz. I think Michel is sharing the screen. Can you hear us?
Can you speak? Michel? 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 No, I don't think, maybe that's somebody else then.
Yeah, it was Michael's screen, but maybe he has some technical issue.
Okay.
We probably can.
I think we should move on then. Yeah. We're already a little bit behind and we've got videos. So we can hear, we can have the video from Chloe Mullerwater. I never know how to pronounce her name. But she is the coordinator of the Global Campaign on Military Spending, which is a campaign promoted by the International Peace Bureau, but now it's very broad and it has partners in all continents now. It's, again, a network is what counts. Good. Chloe.
Hello, everyone, dear activists and fellow advocates for peace. My name is Chloe Mullerwater, and I'm thrilled to be here with you today as part of the Global Campaign on Military Spending, or GCOMS. My journey into peace activism began during my studies in peace, conflict, and development. It was during this time that I started investigating military expenditure and its impact on global peace, particularly within the peace movement in Spain. What drives me to participate in peace-building activities is a strong conviction that peace can only be achieved through peaceful means. It's unrealistic to think that violence can lead to peace. We urgently need to reduce global military spending and instead invest in cooperation, diplomacy, multilateralism, and other non-violent conflict resolution methods. GCOMS was launched in December 2014 by the International Peace Bureau, and our mission is simple but powerful. We push governments, especially those with high military budgets, to rethink their spending and redirect those resources into disarmament, conflict prevention and resolution, common and human security, health, education, and climate action. This shift is crucial for establishing comprehensive human security worldwide. In 2011, we've organized the Global Days of Action on Military Spending, or GDAMS, every year in April and May. Coordinated by the International Peace Bureau offices in Berlin and Barcelona, GDAMS aims to raise public awareness about the vast amounts of public money going to the military and why we need to redirect those funds to human and environmental needs. And what started as a one-day event has now expanded to multiple weeks, strategically timed with the US Tax Day and the release of CPRI data on global military expenditure. This year's theme, War Causes the Earth, underscores the devastating impact of current defense budget decisions. We are at a crossroad where these decisions will shape the trajectory of multiple crises we face today. From Gaza to Ukraine, the Democratic Republic of Congo to Sudan, military spending has done nothing to resolve persistent conflicts or reduce global tensions. Instead, it has only increased volatility and hindered global peace and cooperation. Military spending takes away resources that could be used for essential social services and climate action. The military is one of the world's largest consumers of fuel, significantly contributing to global emissions and environmental pollution. Militarization not only causes death and destruction, but also protects fossil fuel interests, worsening environmental disasters. And given the global challenges we face, wars, climate crisis, social crisis, and many more, we must act now. These challenges require a coordinated global effort. We need to build new alliances among civil society, international institutions, states, companies, and people to finance and create justice and human rights for people and our planet. Together, we must push for a global common security based on trust, cooperation, and solidarity. Reducing military spending is the first necessary step to building peace and creating a sustainable world with dignity for all. We then call governments to reduce military spending and reallocate resources to address urgent global challenges. Expose and counteract the influences of the military-industrial complex. Pursue genuine global disarmament and the arms trade and halt arms shipments to conflict zones. Commit to a fourth special session on disarmament, given that the last one was 30 years ago. Prioritize justice over arms profits. Cease arms trade with Israel. And work towards a ceasefire and end to the genocide in Gaza. Develop new international and regional security frameworks based on common security and the UN Secretary General's new agenda for peace. Promote a global ceasefire, recognizing that military solutions will not resolve conflicts in Gaza, Sudan, or Myanmar. Shift geopolitics away from violence, fostering global governance through cooperation and dialogue. And implement a real decarbonization plan immediately, condemning the fossil industry corporations that have hijacked governments. We also call on civil society at all levels to join us in combating the rising trend of military spending, strengthening the global movement for peace and justice, and challenging decision makers who justify endless militarism in the name of security. Together, let's build a new era based on a culture of peace, feminist principles, and dialogue-based conflict resolution. Let's ensure that the logic of peace prevails over the logic of war. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chloe. Thank you for this message. I'm wondering now if Jordi is actually with us. If not, I will move to another part of Spain. Jordi is near Barcelona. But if not, I will move to another part of Spain, to Oviedo. Emily, can you tell me what I should do? Maybe
I
we
just
should
happened
bring
to
in...
see that Michael is here now. I don't know if he wants to say a couple of words, if he's able to, or...
Well, I'm sorry, I was muted, so, but just some words to explain this deposit of a petition in Bern was done by Center for Nonviolent Action in Lausanne. It's a committee for promoting nonviolent action, and we also use possibilities for every citizen to influence the government of Switzerland. And this petition is aiming at using influence of the Federal Council of Switzerland for a ceasefire in Gaza, and we demand 10 demands to cease arms export and to facilitate supply of foods and healthcare to the population in Gaza, and also to promote peace with the proposal of 2 states, Israel and Palestine, and if possible also a federal state as we have in Switzerland. So I don't have to add much more than that, but just to say thank you for this possibility of participating to the wave of peace organized by Beyond War and IPB. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's a very good example that can be followed in many other countries. We have done something similar in Italy, submitting resolutions from city councils to Parliament and to the national government along those lines. We have also asked for the recognition of the state of Palestine, which is another 2 states for 2 peoples. But first of all, the state of Palestine needs to be recognized. Italy has not done that yet. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Shall we go to Maria Cueva, whom I remember from last year? Are you there, yes. Maria?
No, Maria is not connected,
no.
But they send us a very brief video.
Oh,
so
okay, good.
I'd like to share this.
Let's see the video.
Hello from Oviedo. This year has been quite a hectic year, so we cannot organize any physical events as last year. But we are handling some QR mystery cards around the city, like Join the Wave. And so these QRs actually point to our webpage where we put some information about the use of artificial intelligence and drones in warfare, mostly in Gaza. So we thought it was a very important topic since many people are being targeted and put in a blacklist and automatically killed by machines. In their homes with entire families, and they are not actually following any principle of proportionality as dictates the international humanitarian law. So we hope with this we can raise some consciousness about this issue.
Thank you. It's a charming idea, the mystery QRs. But I see that we go back when we get to Spain and we go back to international humanitarian law again, which states and governments and militaries are violating all the time, and civil society is trying to uphold. Well, we've come to the last of our presentations. This is a video by Francesco Vignarca that he sent us this video. Francesco Vignarca is my colleague, my dear colleague in Italy, who is the campaigns coordinator for the Italian Peace and Disarmament Network, of which I am a member. And so we will watch that. I think it's a bit longer than the time we've got, but Emily, you tell me. I think we can go to the end of that and then you can say goodbye, or if not, we can cut it a bit short.
I was going to say the same. I think since we are in the last part, we can get a little bit over time.
Good.
I hope participants don't mind.
It'll only be a little bit, 3 or 4 minutes. Okay.
Hello, everyone. Greetings from Italy. I'm Francesco Vignarca. I'm the campaigns coordinator of Rete Italiana Pace Disarmo, which is the Italian network for peace and disarmament. I think that it's important for us to participate in this peace wave because we can give you an example of how the Italian civil society is working for these issues and why and how we are connected with the international work of the campaigns, the networks that all together are trying to push for policies that aim to build a world in peace and not a world dominated by militarism, wars, and of course, weapons. I think that it's important for you start to know who we are. And so I'm giving you an example of our work. This is the homepage of Rete Italiana Pace Disarmo, in which you can find everything that we are doing, all our campaigns, and all our events and interests. Please do note that we are a network that was established in 2020 after the merging of 2 historical networks of the Italian peace and disarmament movement. And that gave us much more strength to operate within the advocacy environment of Italy, but also to cooperate with all the international campaigns we are part of. As you can see, these are the members of our Rete. There are like 65 different organizations, associations, research institutes, trade unions, big one, very big ones with millions of people inside of them, and small ones. Because we think that we need both the work at the national level with the strength in number, of course, but also the work day by day made at the local level. As you can see, we are trying also to have a little bit of English homepage that can make you understand what we're doing. But of course, the most updated one is the national in Italian homepage. What we are doing right now, we're doing a lot of things, and I also put the website link here. This is the one in Italian, and of course, this is the one in English. What we're doing here, we're doing different things, but I will only give you some example of couple of the first one is an issue that we share also with IPB. We work in the last few months at the Civil 7 process. The Civil 7 is a process, an engagement process, official one with the G7, which this year has just been held in Italy, in Puglia. And we gathered together with a lot of organizations to work to present a communique with proposals of the civil society to the leaders of G7. Of course, we are much more, we are much more, fond of multilateral organization of the United Nations, of course, with the European Union as well, because those represent a democratic way to engage with the international issues. But as long as we don't like a lot the approach of the G7, which claims to be the great leaders and the great countries of the world, G7 exists. And it's important because it shapes policies and obliges some other countries to work in some direction. So we found out that working in these issues and this process is important. And with IPB, the International Peace Bureau, we were the ones coordinating the working group on peace, nuclear disarmament, but also on common security. Last year, during the G7 in Japan, there was the first year in which there was something dedicated to nuclear disarmament, of course, because the summit was held in Hiroshima. But we decided this year to add a lot of issues. And I really suggest you not only to read the press release that we issued some days ago on the 14th of June during the event, the summit of the leaders, in which we underline all the problems that arises from the communique of the G7, but also to read the whole communique that we prepared to arrive to the summit, because I really think, and we really think, that this is a very good summary of what should be a very progressive and positive manifesto for the civil society, but also for politicians and in general for people all around the world. Because we try to get together, and I think we manage in some way the issues of peace, disarmament, with the issues of the environment, the financing for the development, the international aid, the humanitarian intervention in conflict and crisis. So I really do think that this was a very good job that we were able to do. Of course, at the international level, we work with a lot of other campaigns. We are part of the international campaign to abolish nuclear weapons, and we work, of course, pushing Italy to get to the path towards the TPNW, and also to get rid of the US warheads that we have in Italy for the nuclear sharing. We work within the Stop Killer Robots campaign. We are part of the Control Arms campaign, and it's quite important also with the surge of military expenditure and weapons, financing of weapons that we are facing, to work on rules that at least control the international trade of arms, because this international trade of arms is, of course, responsible for fueling a lot of conflicts all over the world. On this issue, we are recently struggling to work for a very important campaign that we have in Italy. This campaign, which is named Basta favori ai mercanti di armi, so stop to do favors to the merchants of weapons. Because in Italy there is a law that they speak on 1990 regarding arms export, which is a quite good one with a lot of transparency, and which came even decades before the common position of the EU on arms export and the ATT, the Arms Trade Treaty, that we obtained altogether in 2014. At the moment, the Italian government wants to change this law and to weaken a lot of this law. And there is a problem, because with the data, the information that we were able to gather, we were also able in the past to stop some Italian weapons to go to war conflicts like the Yemeni one, and at least to record all the trades and all the interest that are behind this dirty money that comes from the production of weapons. So right now there are at least more than 80 organizations and more than 100 organizations supporting, 8 organizations that launched the campaign and 100 that supported it. And really, we do think that this is quite important, because it gets together a lot of organizations that are working also on other issues, and it gets together also on this very specific issue, which is quite important also for peace and nuclear disarmament, because the military industrial complex, which is also financial right now, is behind all of this. I think that we should need also help from the international side, but I think also it's something that can support the international campaign like Control Arms and other ones. And this is quite interesting, the fact that we really are suffering this right now, because of course there's a wave of war, there's a wave of weapons, and we want to confront it with a peace wave. We work also with IPB in the global campaign on military expenditure. We are the ones providing all the information on Italian's military expenditure, because we really do believe that any kind of work for peace must start from actual data, information, the ability to get inside all details, also the legal ones, also the technical ones, just to present the civil society and the public opinion in general with an alternative. which is viable, which has to be viable, has to be concrete. And this is something that really helps us. And in some way, we are seeing some good results, even if the Italian politicians, they don't follow our suggestions, but we can get from a lot of polls that the majority of Italian people doesn't want to support an increase in military expenditure. They don't want to support an increase in arms export. They don't want to solve the conflicts all over the world with weapons and with war, but with peace. So that's a little bit our contribution to the international actions that are going around right now. We wanted to have this very little testimony and a little bit of information coming from Italy. Of course, let's keep in touch. You can reach out our website, you can write to us, and you can see us in all the venues, all the campaigns, all the mobilization that all over the world are taken in the name of peace and in the name of violence. And we really like the fact that the International Peace Bureau and all the people involved in Peace Wave are trying to get it connected, because only with a real strong connection between all of our actions and all of our campaigns, then we will be able to present a really compact peace wave that can change the policy all over the world, change the decision made by the policymaker, and build up a new agenda for peace, for disarmament, for justice, and for having a climate that can permit everyone in this world to live at best. So thank you very much. Ciao, alla prossima.
Well, my task is over. Thank you, Emily, for asking me to moderate these last 2 hours of the remarkable Peace Wave. Thank you for doing all the work. And I give the floor to you, Emily, so that you can wrap up all 24 hours and not just the last 2.
Yes, thank you so much, Lisa. Really, it was. We are really glad that you were able to help us with this part, and you did an amazing moderation. So really, thanks. And I'm sorry if we are running a little bit late here, but I think, as you saw, there were so many contributions and so many actions that needed to be shown that, we are now a little behind schedule, but I hope you enjoyed it. And I think the most important thing that we really want to show and share is that there is a lot of peaceful actions going on around the world. And I think what IPB is trying to do since we were born is to create this network and to help people to get to know each other and to be connected. So we really hope that we were able to show you this during this 24-hour Peace Wave. And we hope that we remain in touch. Please reach out if you have any action you want to share, and if you want, can close. And I just want to thank once again all my team and War Beyond War and all the amazing speakers and moderators we had during this 24-hour event. Thank you so much.